Everything is political around you. People are afraid of that word. And in marriage, that can almost be voodoo when it shouldn't be. You should be aligned so that you can say, yes, honey, let's do this. Let's live here. It can cause dissension. It can't unless you intend to. So when you're talking to your spouse or talking to your fiance or talking to someone that you're involved with, it's an important thing to know where they stand.
Absolutely.
It's an important thing to know where you stand on. And that, again, is just the basis.
Right. Welcome to another episode of Stephen and Corey's Get It Together. I'm Stephen
and I'm Corey. And today we are talking about elections. That's right. We in the good old US of A, we are in an election year this year. Our national elections are every 4 years.
Yes.
So because of that, we thought, you know what? There's a lot of married couples out there.
Yes.
And a lot of engaged couples out there who don't really understand their spouse's political viewpoints, or even if they even know their spouse's political viewpoints.
Yeah, let me interject. What if you're literally at opposite ends of the spectrum?
Right. And here's the thing. People say, well, I don't really get involved in politics. That's a lie, because every day politics happen in your life.
Absolutely.
When you turn on a light switch, your energy bill.
Oh, that's really good.
Right. When you go to the store and you pay taxes on things.
Oh, yeah. Right. You're getting involved in politics.
When you buy gas, you're paying tax on that gas.
Yes.
Everything is political around you. People are afraid of that word. And in marriage, that can almost be voodoo when it shouldn't be. You should be aligned so that you can say, yes, honey, let's do this. Let's live here.
Boy, she's talking, man. I'll tell you, she's on a roll here.
Let's put our children in school. Should we have school choice? Does this state offer school choice? That's a local political.
And you can influence that. This is the thing that's most important.
And there's a lot of marriages that they walk on eggshells during the election time, and then during the rest of the years, the other 3 years, they're like, I can't stand. Well, you didn't vote for it, did you?
Yeah.
I didn't know I had to vote for it.
That's right.
People just don't know.
That's right.
So we decided.
Yes, we did.
We're in unity on our political spectrum.
Yeah, thankfully. It's a real blessing.
And I think we were always like that.
We've always been that way.
We haven't had to grow into it, but sometimes you do have to grow into it in marriages.
Yeah.
So we decided, let's talk about that.
Let's talk about it.
That's almost like the voodoo you don't want to talk about, I don't know if we should talk about it.
As a matter of fact, we talked to some friends. I polled several people, say, hey, we're thinking about doing some podcasts around, this election cycle. Oh my God, you can't do that. Yes, we can.
Now that you say we can't, now we're gonna.
Yeah, absolutely.
So first of all, we want to talk about us in America. We have what's called the U.S. Constitution, the United States Constitution, the Bill of Rights. A lot of people don't even know what the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, and the U.S. Constitution are. So we decided, if you are an American and you don't know, you should.
You should.
And if you're from another country, in your country, do you have some sort of constitution? Do you have some sort of a declaration that you can say, this is what my country will and will not do? Or does that change and vary based upon who's in office?
Right. And if you're in this country, and if you are married, and if you are in a relationship, what's really important is that even though you might be on opposite ends of the spectrum, you really have to come together in your family and in your marriage and decide, what do you guys stand for?
Yes.
Okay. What do you stand for? And what is the standard, that you're going to establish in your family, in your nuclear family, in your household? Because what is the standard?
The saying is, if you don't stand for something,
you'll fall for anything.
That's right.
Right.
And too many people have said, I don't want to, they're passive. I don't want to take a stand. I know. And then you fall for everything. And then you're like, I can't believe that.
But what's up with this pacificity?
Yeah, but it's a pressure from government. And it is a pressure from just let us take care of you.
Yeah.
Just let us take care of you. But if you don't know what your Bill of Rights are, what your Constitution is, if you don't know what the Declaration of Independence stood for, how this country became a country.
If you don't know the Pledge of Allegiance,
you'd
be surprised at the Americans that don't know the Pledge of Allegiance. We're going to recite that later on.
Yes. So let's go ahead. And the first thing we want to do is give you the definition, because I'm all about defining. If you're going to say something, let's get the definition of what that means, because we could tell you, but isn't it best to just know? So Stephen, if you could pull up, what is the Constitution? What's the word Constitution mean?
Okay, glad you asked. Let's see here.
According to Wikipedia, a constitution is the aggregate of fundamental principles or established precedents that constitute the legal basis of a polity, organization, or other type of entity, and commonly determines how that entity is to be governed.
So that's the definition of a constitution. Now, for most of you out there, you know that America was created from people who came from England because the king ruled England.
Under tyranny.
Under tyranny. So when they came to this country, this place, which were owned by Native Americans, which were Indians, Native Americans, Indians, they took over, unfortunately, but all of Europeans take over everywhere. That's what they do. Europeans have taken over everywhere. And coming into this country, which they named America, the United States of America. At first it was America until all the states they started expanding and they became more united. More states became united. So we have this United States of America. One thing I highly suggest you get, which we got, is this pamphlet, Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States of America. This is from Hillsdale College.
Great institution, phenomenal institution.
Hillsdale College, pursuing truth, defending liberty since 1844. I don't care where you live in the world. Get one of these because it's at hillsdale.edu. You can get one free.
Yeah.
And it literally is your Declaration of Independence, the Constitution of the United States of America, amendments to the Constitution. And a lot of people know the amendments, but they don't know the Constitution.
Well, and there's several things within the Constitution with respect to the amendments that actually have been under attack. Okay. Yes. And when we as U.S. citizens do not understand, the details of the amendments, we're going to deal with the first one, which is free speech. I'm going to read that for you.
Hold on. If you don't understand it, you don't even know it's being taken away from you.
Exactly.
You don't even know. You're like, oh, did I have that right? Yes.
Yes.
You have that right.
And by the way, it's a right, not a privilege.
That's right. It's a right.
That's very important, by the way. Okay. We're going to touch on at least two of the amendments to the Constitution of the United States of America. Amendment number 1. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances.
Okay, understand what that means. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. You can't respect one religion or another to another.
That's right.
We are open to all religion here.
That's right.
And this was written, interesting enough, by Christian men who came from England. And the reason why they say that is because there was no freedom of religion in England.
That's right.
So they're like, you know what? We want religion to be free.
You know, something that for all of you, including us who consume these things called podcasts, which we're shooting one right now, you understand that number 1 amendment gives us the right to do this.
Yes.
And it gives you the right to consume it.
And not like it either.
And that right is actually under attack.
And it says, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, which we're exercising our rights right now.
Yeah.
Or abridge the freedom of speech, meaning you cannot stop me from speaking.
Right.
It's interesting because in our country, there are a lot of people who are going to prison, to jail, to court because they spoke. They spoke about something, standing on the street with a sign. They spoke about something that somebody else didn't like, and their local government has put them in jail.
How many of you heard recently about the big social media company, where the CEO of that company admitted, that they took someone's free speech and depressed it.
And they said they
demoted it, didn't want it to come out to the public square.
They now are sorry for it, but they actually did it. Okay, and then it says freedom of speech or of the press. Here's another thing, the press.
Which you write.
So if you don't know this, in another country, Twitter X is being banned.
Right.
X is considered the press. They're social media and they give you information. Or the right of the people peaceably to assemble. Like I just said, you can hold signs and peaceably assemble And you should not be put in jail for that.
What does that mean? Peaceably assemble. And you guys ever work for a company where they had quote unquote a union, right? And they had something that they disagreed about. Well, this number one amendment gives you the right to be able to stand out there, okay, with a message on a stick.
Or not. You could just stand out there.
Or you can just stand out there.
And peaceably means you can have a kumbaya moment. You could be singing together as long as you're in peace.
Now, hold on one second. Let's go back. If you're just joining us, why are we talking about all this? We're talking about this because it's really, really important for you to understand what your rights are.
Absolutely. And what your spouse's rights are. I mean, there's a lot of people who don't know their rights, and all of a sudden their spouse is being sued, and it's like, I guess he's wrong, or I guess she's wrong. No, you have a right.
That's right.
Here's the rest of it. Peaceably to assemble and to petition the government. Petition the government for a redress of grievance. You can actually petition the government.
Yes.
Now, we did have something that happened here a couple of years ago, and it wasn't done in a peaceably assembly. So the government took that into their own hands. But if you go, you can protest right into any government office and stand there and peaceably assemble.
Right.
And you can speak because you have freedom of speech.
Yeah.
And you can pray because you have freedom of religion. And you can do it all in front of a courthouse if you want to.
Yeah. And if you're married and you have kids, it's your duty, even if you don't have kids, it's your duty to understand.
Absolutely. I can tell you, we homeschooled our second child, and she went through these, and she knows, she's like, wow, that's so interesting. Yeah. And the more you dig into it, it's you should have a love of your country for a reason.
Right.
You shouldn't just say, well, I live here and I have benefits. No, you have such freedom that some other countries don't have. And if your children don't know that, then they grow up thinking that we're just like any other country.
You have the right, to speak about what you feel. You have the right to do that.
Yeah.
And if you don't know that, and like you said earlier, if you don't know that, those things can be stripped away from you.
And it's not a privilege. Somebody just said, one of the people running for president of the United States, she said, well, you have privilege. This is a privilege. No, it's a right. Privilege means that you're privileged. You did something. You don't have to do anything you have a right as an American citizen to have these Bill of Rights and these amendments because it's given to you. That's part of the gift of becoming a U.S. citizen of the country. So
let's dive into amendment number 2. Let's see what that has to say.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. A well-regulated militia, ready? Being necessary to the security of a free state. It's necessary to bear arms to have a free state.
To protect yourself.
Protect yourself. Again, remember, these people came from England. They had over there, they had no rights to bear arms. They were not protected. They could just get beat up and pushed around. And so they said, no, here we're going to make sure this is going to literally be in the Bill of Rights, in our amendment to the Constitution. You will be able to bear arms and freely do it.
Yes.
Not hiding it, but freely. And people nowadays think, well, all those guns kill people. No, they don't. Guns don't kill people. People kill people.
Yeah.
You take away a gun, they'll get a knife. You take away a knife, they'll get a rope. I mean, they'll hang you, they'll stab you, they'll shoot you, but it's not the tool, it's the mindset that's behind the tool.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's take a look at why this is important. Okay. The United States of America was really kind of like initially a project, like
an experiment.
Like, what would that be like? Today, this country is still one of the best opportunities for mankind,
and one of the youngest
literally on the planet.
And one of the youngest countries. And think about this. It was an experiment, and they put in everything they desired.
Yeah.
They're like, we can't do this. Let's be able to do this. We can't do that. We can't do this other thing.
Right.
And we have the freedoms, and we act like it's just okay, or I don't even want that freedom.
Yeah.
How would you not want the freedom to be able to speak your mind?
Yes.
Be able to trust your partner in what they're saying, because it's embedded in you from birth.
And, this country, whether you want to agree with it or believe it or not, the truth is this country was founded and established upon Judeo-Christian principles. Okay. Look at your U.S. Treasury note, which you call money. It's a note, okay? It's a dollar bill note. It's worth 100 pennies. But look at the back of it. Should say, in God we trust. Mm-hmm. In God we trust.
Yes.
If you have an issue with that, you have to understand that that's how it is. In God we trust.
Yes. Amendment number 3. Now, we're going through these amendments. We did number 1 and number 2 because most people know those, or the people who know the amendments say, I know those 2. But there are, again, many amendments. We have here amendment number 3, that no soldier shall in time of peace be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war be in a manner to be prescribed by law. Think about that. So they must have, if you think about what this says, understand that they must have experienced, okay, I'm a soldier and I've got to stay in this house, and there's no, and I get to stay in this house without the consent of the owner, and there's no war going on. In time of peace, I'm a soldier. I'll just go live in somebody else's house. I mean, think about that. Yeah, we don't even think about that.
Right.
But one day, hopefully, we'll never have to turn around and go, wait a minute, is that in the amendments?
Yeah.
Because a soldier could just go into their houses and live there without consent from the owner.
Wow.
And they could take over the house. You'd have to leave if a group of soldiers. That can't happen in America. That may happen in other countries. We don't know, but that can't happen in America without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law. So if there's a law for it, then it can be, if there's a law for it.
No.
So again, there's many amendments here, and we encourage you to learn those and learn your amendments, learn your rights. Now let's talk about the Constitution. The Constitution of the United States of America. A lot of people know how it starts, but let's just start it off. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union,
Wow.
Establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. Do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. This is why they did it. They did this in order to form a more perfect union.
Yeah.
Think about where they came from again. Establish justice, true justice. Ensure domestic tranquility. That's just peace. I mean, tranquility and peace. I mean, to establish that. For the people who have come to America from other countries and are watching this, comment below if that's what you came for. If that's what you came for, the hope of tranquility, justice, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, taking care of people, taking care of each other, and secure the blessings of liberty. The blessings of liberty, secure it to ourselves and our posterity. That means our future children. That means anyone that's coming in here, into this country.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As I listened to that, I was just thinking, whose responsibility is it to know these things? It's ours. It's our individual responsibility to have the knowledge and the wisdom about what were the founding principles that this country was established upon. And if you don't know these things, if you don't know you have these things, it can easily be stripped away from you, right?
Yes. And again, we're talking to you people who are thinking about marrying each other. Understand where you both lay on this political. Again, did they say anything about politics in this? No. Somebody made that word politics a nasty word, and people think that it can cause dissension. It can't, unless you intend to. So when you're talking to your spouse, or talking to your fiance, or talking to someone that you're involved with, it's an important thing to know where they stand.
Absolutely.
It's an important thing to know where you stand on. And that, again, is just the basis.
Right.
We can go into how you vote, why you vote the way you vote, and what the results and what the effect is on your community based upon how you vote locally and based upon how you vote nationally.
Right.
But you cannot vote one way and expect things to change if you're not voting for the change.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that I keep thinking about as you're talking, and that's our flag. All right. We have a beautiful flag.
Beautiful flag.
Right?
Yes.
She's wearing it, reflects that. So I think we ought to focus on that for a second. the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. When is the last time you actually said that?
And the flag is representative of the country. So it's not even a pledge allegiance to our flag. When they're saying I pledge allegiance to the flag, I pledge allegiance to what that flag stands for.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Shall we recite it together?
Yes. I'm sorry. Good to hear.
Okay.
Yes, let's recite it together.
We pledge allegiance.
Hold on. And as we do that, we're going to break it down so you can understand it. Okay. I pledge allegiance. And it's an I because it's individual. You know, even when you're in a stadium of people, you still say, I pledge allegiance, because you take it personal, because you are part of the United States, united. Right. So I pledge my allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
And to the republic
for which it stands. What does that mean? For the republic for which it stands. Everything we just told you.
Yeah.
That's what it stands on.
Yeah.
For which it stands, one nation.
One nation.
So we just called the United States made one nation under God.
God. Under who?
God.
Under God.
These people came here for freedom of religion also.
That's
and
right.
It gives us freedom of religion under God.
For which it stands. One nation under God. Indivisible.
Yes.
It cannot be divided.
Cannot be divided.
Indivisible. With liberty
and justice. What did I just read to you? With liberty and justice for all.
For all. Not for some.
Right.
Not for a few.
For liberty and justice for all.
For all.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they took that out of the schools. Yeah. Children don't even know. We have a generation of children who don't even understand the benefits that that is caused to live in this country. And they say, I don't really like America. I'm going to go live somewhere else. And then when they go live somewhere else, they're like, oh, I didn't know you couldn't do that here. I don't know why I got arrested. You know, it's like, well, you don't live in America. You probably can't do that there. You know?
Absolutely.
You know,
yes.
Or how come I can't get an attorney? Because you don't live in America. Yeah, it's crazy, but it's true. They took the Pledge Allegiance out of the school system. Yeah, exactly. Children don't know. And here's the other thing. Sometimes when they slowly removed it for you of other countries, when they slowly removed it, first they removed it from high school. First they removed it from colleges. Then they went to high school and they slowly dwindled it. Well, you know, the young kids, once they know it, they don't have to say it in high school and college. Then they removed it from middle school. And now it's just gone. It's just gone.
Yeah.
And the sad part is you can tell if you watch enough politics and they do the Pledge of Allegiance or the national anthem, some of these people are sitting there and they don't know the words. They're like, I don't know what to say, so I'll just stand here. Or they'll mumble, you know, because they don't know. Exactly. And that's not picking on them, but you should know the benefits of the country you live in. You should know your rights. You should know your liberties and understand that. And again, especially as a married couple.
Yes, right.
Be on the same page.
What do you stand for in your family? What do you stand for in your marriage? And what is the standard and the principles that it is established upon?
Yes.
That's what's important, right?
Yeah.
You can't know that if you don't know your rights.
That's right.
Okay.
That's true. Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is one in a series of several podcasts we're going to be doing. We're going to take a deeper dive on our next show, and we're going to get into some different perspectives, if you will. If there's something you'd like us to touch on, okay, send us a message, right? And in the meantime, click, right?
Like, subscribe, and share.
Well,
take care.
Until next time.
On Get It Together.
We'll see you.